Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Econdo channel, where we talk about parenting and how to manage our kids consciously. So we are so excited to have you join us. I can already see some people are joining us already. We are so excited about this event, and today we will be talking on the topic raising the next generation, the power of conscious parenting. Okay, so we are so privileged to have the one and only, the amazing Emalu Penwood. I hope I did pronounce that word correctly. Hi, Emalu.
Hello, Ma. It is an honor for me to be here.
Oh, we are so honored to have you.
I love watching your posts on LinkedIn, the wisdom you share, and
All right.
this is something I'm passionate about. I love strengthening families. I think families are the foundation of society.
Yeah, that is right. And I equally love the fact that you are a family relationship coach and you equally help parents to manage their kids. That is just so amazing. That is an amazing job to really help parents on how to manage their kids. And you know that every parent needs help. We just need help because most of the times it's not really that easy to manage everything. And when we don't have the knowledge, when we don't have the training, the right mindset, we will just destroy everything. So we need to be prepared, we need to be ready, we need to be equipped as parents in order to raise our kids the right way, in order for us not to put our trauma on the children, and in order for us not to raise traumatized kids. So without any waste of time, we are just going to dive directly into today. Yes. So,
I, I
Malu,
didn't I didn't quite hear your question. Could you say it one more time?
all right. So I was saying that we as parents, we need to be equipped, we need to be trained on how to handle our kids, because when we don't have knowledge about it, we are being created damage to children and make them to be traumatized. So we are so glad and so happy to hear from you, your experience, your expertise, and I know that you're even a grandma.
Oh, I'm excited to share what I've learned. Part of what I've studied, well, a lot of it has been my own experience. I raised 7 children. They're all grown now and they're raising their children. And I taught school for 24 years. So I watched other parents raising their children. I learned a lot by doing, by observing, and I also did some research.
All right.
So I wanted to share something I learned, some research I learned that helped me. It served as a guide to know how to interact with my children.
All
And
right.
this is based on a psychologist. This is back in the 1970s. Her name was Diana Baumrind, and she did a lot of research on how parents interact with their children. And then because it was done so long ago, they did a lot of studies so they could follow up and say, how do these children turn out as adults? So I just want to share my screen
All right.
and just explain this, okay?
Okay.
All right. So this is a graph, and it's just kind of showing um, two scales. So the line that's going up is measuring how much parents give to their children, what they provide. And this doesn't just mean food and material things, it means their time, their attention, their affection, their encouragement, how much they share of themselves. They teach their values. They include their children in their lives. And the line that's horizontal is showing what they expect of their children, how much they expect of their children. And she came up with 4 categories. So parents who they don't give much and they don't expect much, she called them uninvolved parents. They might even be called because they're not giving much and they may not even keep track of their children or know where their children are or what their children are doing. And the children and the parents who give a lot, they give their children anything they want, but they don't expect much in return. They pretty much let their children do whatever they want. She labeled that group of parents as permissive. And the children or the parents give much of themselves, but they expected a lot of their children. These would be parents that say, you do it because I said so. My word is law. It's you do what I want. I'm in charge. I'm the boss. And they would kind of force their children to obey. And then that 4th category is talking about the parents who give a lot of themselves and they also require a lot from their children. They have high expectations for their children. So they have structure in the home. They have a routine they follow, but they talk it over with their children. They're explaining it's important to me for you to eat foods, or it's important for you to go to school because it will help you have an easier life. And so they're nurturing, they're loving and caring for their children, but they also expect their children to be obedient. They're respectful to their children, so they expect their children to be respectful to them. They give a lot of love, and they want their children to be obedient and to clean up after themselves, to do the best they can. Well, they interviewed young adults, and they gave them 2 parts. The first was a survey to determine what kind of parenting they got. Which one of these 4 categories did they think? And they found that the children, these young adults, they were raised by parents who gave a lot of themselves and also expected a lot of their children, were more successful, they were more confident, they were able to accomplish their goals, they were more successful, they were happier, they had better relationships, they got along better with people. And the other category, the children who were raised by parents who either just let them do whatever they wanted or were very harsh and critical, didn't feel confident. They didn't believe in themselves. They didn't succeed as well. So to me, I love this guideline. First of all, I love something you can measure. That it was a guideline showing that the best parenting is when we're giving of ourselves, we give our time to our children, love, affection, nurturing, we share our values, we give them guidance. And also, we expect them to comply with the structure of the home, to treat us with respect, and to do the best they can. And that is, to me, what crisis parenting is, having both of those qualities. So I love what you're saying about the, would you agree that this is the most important thing you will do in your life?
I'm telling you, the most important.
Yes. Nothing else will matter as much as how you raise your children. You're,
Yeah,
someone else could step in at your job and do your work, but you're the only parent. I mean, no one can replace you as your child. So
yeah,
it's rewarding.
yeah.
I was a school teacher I taught school for 24 years and I enjoyed it, but it doesn't, the relationships I made there don't compare with the relationships I have with my adult children and my grandchildren. And these are relationships that will last a lifetime. And we start out with just this helpless little baby who needs our attention around the clock all the time. And then we gradually shift to an adult that we just have a close relationship with. If we take the time when they're very small to build that strong relationship, give them that love, listen to them, care for them, then when they're in those critical years that they're making decisions that will impact the rest of their life. They're deciding who they spend time with, how much school they go to, what job they have, what their values are. They need a mentor, an adult who can guide them and help them make wise decisions. And you can be that mentor when you've built that trust, that love that lets them know you are a safe person for them to talk to. You've probably found that true yourself, right, Ma?
Yes, I do.
And
You know,
so, go ahead.
okay. You know, most of the times when we talk about us parents involving our kids to what we do, with them quality time, for some people it might be so strange because they often see that is the kid's position just listen to what the parent have to say and the opinion doesn't count. Whereas we need to know that these kids, though they may be small now, they'll be older persons tomorrow, and how we behave to them now will actually influence the way they will be in the future.
It does. It does. You think about how much influence your parents have on you. And parents teach children to believe in themselves, to believe they're capable. And when you have a child who is confident, they're willing to take risks, they're ready to learn, there's no limit to what they can accomplish.
That's right. That's very important, Emalu. And we get to really see that when kids grow up in an atmosphere where their opinion doesn't count and they are always pushed aside, when they grow up, they have self-esteem issues. They just restrict themselves from giving out their opinion and they always feel like they are the least in society.
Yeah, I think, are you talking about how they get along with others?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. And it's natural for for children to disagree with their parents and not want to do what their parent wants them to do. And if we can, and we're bigger than they are, it's natural to just pick them up and you know, or or scold them or yell at them or intimidate them because we are bigger, but it damages that relationship. If we can stay calm and help them understand, why we're asking them to do it, why it's important, or giving them choices, that's really big. You want your child to eat vegetables because they're healthy for him. And you could say, do you want to eat this vegetable or this one? And they can choose.
Yeah.
And you're letting them, children sometimes resist us, fight us, because they don't feel like they have any power. They don't feel like, I don't have any choice here. If we let them see that they have choice, but be the parent, know that there has to be structure. They can't just eat anything they want. Then it helps them. They start to trust you. They know mom cares about me. She just wants what's best for me.
Yeah, that is right. And most of the times, right, Emalu, some parents think that it is often when we apply um, physical discipline on a child that we get them to listen or that we make them to be well behaved or well mannered.
Okay.
Yes, some parents usually ask that question too.
Are you talking about the physical punishment?
Yes.
Okay. You know, if your child is running in front of a car in the street, you have to go to them and pull them back. You do what you need to protect your child. But sometimes we resort to physical punishment when we could use words or kindness. We can maybe distract them if they're very small, or reason with them if they're older. And a lot of times when they're older, like in their teen years, and they're starting to make more decisions for themselves, you can have a discussion with them. For example, maybe they're old enough to go out by themselves, and you can explain, this is the situation, these are the things, the conditions I'm worried about. I want to keep you safe. I need you to be home in an hour where you will be safe, a time. And then as the teenager understands that, they can talk it over and agree on a time that both the parents feel is safe and the teenager can accept. And then they can even talk about, well, what consequence do we have? As adults, we have consequences. If we break the law, there's a consequence. If we don't take care of our health, there's a consequence. So we can talk about consequences. And if the teenager is saying, okay, I agree to be home by this time, and I agree that if I don't do that, then I'll lose the privilege of going out again for a while. And if it's something the teenager has helped to define, they'll cooperate because it was part of their decision making.
Yeah, that's right.
That communication is so important,
Important. Yeah.
and
That's a-
they need to understand that we love them. We're asking this of them because we love them. We want them to be safe,
yeah.
have a good
Mm,
life.
yeah,
And
that's right.
I think we can do that, um, and especially with older children. That that physical punishment can destroy that love. They lose trust. Now the parents have hurt them, so they don't.
Alright.
If we build more and they know that we love them, then they're more likely to cooperate with
Okay.
what we ask.
Alright. Yes, I so much love the fact that you say that they should know that we love them and we have actually cultivated that love for a while. They know that we love them and they can trust our judgment over decision that we take. That's so amazing.
That's true. That's true. They start to trust us, and they know
Yeah.
we. Yeah, that is true. So I think that is better than the physical punishment, which can be
Okay.
harder. Sometimes it seems easier, but I think we have to think, what's the long term result?
Yeah.
How will this impact the relationship I have with my child 10 years from now?
No, that is right.
And it's difficult because we tend to raise children the way we were raised. We tend to do
Yes.
what parents did. So sometimes we may have to change habits, change patterns of behavior.
That's right.
I love your efforts. I love your comments on how we can raise our children to be happy, to be good people,
Yeah, to be well-rounded kid.
and our children learn the most by our example. So
Yes.
they will be kind as they watch us being kind.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll clean up after themselves as they watch us do that. Our example, that I think that's the most powerful way we teach our children, by our example. And if we want
That's,
them to learn how to clean, you know, when they're like 2 years old, they naturally want to be involved. They want to do what they want to be where you are. They want to do what you're
yeah.
doing. And it's very easy to just
Yeah.
include in cleaning the house, making a
Yeah.
meal.
That's right. Okay. I see. Okay. All right. My little toddler wants to come on camera, but it's okay. So I want us to discuss ways in which we can set boundaries with our kids, especially for toddlers, for younger children.
I like that word boundaries. You know, boundaries can be very helpful. They can sound negative, but they can be good. They can strengthen a relationship. They define this is okay, this is not. So we might set boundaries like your personal property, letting them know this is my personal space. You know, you're welcome to play with the toys that are here, but this is my work area, and this is my space. And I ask you to stay out of it, and then you also their respect them. If there is something that they care deeply about, you respect that. And you establish what behavior is okay and what behavior is not okay. And for example, as they get older, they're old enough to help clean the house. So when they come home from school, this is where you can put books. This is where you keep your shoes. These are the things I need you to do before we eat supper, before we eat a meal. And just having that structure, that routine helps them develop self-discipline. And as an adult, where would we be without self-discipline?
That's right. That's so important, Emalu. And I have this question, and I think that most parents also have this question like, how do I do to get my child to listen? Especially for those toddlers, those younger ones, for them to listen and for you to avoid yelling. How can you get the child to listen and for you to avoid losing it?
Okay. You mean, how can you get them to listen to you? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
This is a really good question because you may begin to believe that your child is just tuning you out. Anytime you talk, it's like they don't hear anything. And it's because they're familiar with your voice. And so there are a couple things that will help. The first, again, depending on the age of the child, with most children at any age, you might want to make sure you have eye contact. Make sure they're looking at you, your eyes are meeting, and you may have the natural tendency is, well, I need to say it louder and louder. And pretty soon we're just yelling at them, screaming at them. So if we maintain the eye contact, we have a tone of voice that says, I want you to hear this. That they know mom is about to say something I need to listen to. And then you can ask them to repeat it. You can say, now tell me what I said, or tell me what I want you to do. And then have them repeat it back. And this is important if you're talking about, you're going to pick them up, or there's something really, you really want to make sure that they do. Now, but it works two ways. Another key point is to make sure that you listen to them. But I remember what I said about example. They will learn from your example. So how you listen to them is teaching them how to listen to you. So, and our children they will talk and talk, and we're trying to do things. But if you can just set aside some time every day where you're not doing anything else, you're not on your phone, you're not trying to fix a meal or clean up, you're focused, eyes on them, and you are listening to them, listening to their words, to their body language, to their facial expressions, and listening because you want to understand what they have to say. And you can even ask some questions to show that you want to know more and that you understood what they've said so far. And it'll do several things for you. One, you're showing them this is how you listen. This is the proper way to listen. It's also called active listening. You're not doing anything else. You're just really engaged. And just sometime every day, whatever time, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, whatever time you can every day that you are listening to them and repeating back to them. So I understand you to say, or I heard, showing that you did understand them. So one, it's that example of how to be a good listener. It will strengthen your communication. You're going to teach them how to be a good listener. And it will help build that trust, that love, that rapport, that bond, so that later on, when you have to tell them something that maybe they don't like, they'll trust you because they know you love them, you have their best interest at heart. So
Yeah.
model active listening. And then before that important communication, when a child is playing a game or reading a book, if they're 7 years old or younger, they're so absorbed in it. They honestly will tune out everything else. It isn't that they're ignoring you. They honestly don't hear you. So this is why the eye contact, make sure they know I'm going to say something I want you to hear, and I'm going to ask you to repeat it back to me. And when you've made it clear, this is the kind of communication we're doing here. And it doesn't have to be, in fact, it's better if it isn't done with anger. If you're angry, they'll just focus on the fact that you're angry. But if you can be calm, serious, but calm and patient, they know mom really wants me to hear this. And it becomes more effective. Does that answer that question?
Yes, so much. So amazing. Thank you so much. Ah, okay, so I want us to discuss about how to deal with the emotions of our children. Most times they are either extremely angry or extremely the emotions or the tantrums. So something else. How do we handle that?
I know what you mean. Oh, yes, thank you. This is an excellent question. You know, children do not understand emotions. Didn't it take you pretty much? I know for me, it took me almost my whole life to understand my emotions. So we can help our children first by our example. They'll learn how to deal with frustration by watching your example, seeing how you deal with frustration, how you deal with anger, how you handle it when you're sad or grieving. So our example again is huge, but we can also help them, and it's a gradual process. When they're very small, we need to help them a whole lot. As they get older, we don't help them as much. But you can, first of all, accept that children have emotions. Sometimes, especially if your child has an emotion when you're out in public and it's embarrassing and you just wish they'd just stop.
Really don't.
Remember, it is. But take the thought, this is an opportunity for me to teach them about their emotions. This is one of those golden teaching moments. So this is good. Then it's important for children to understand emotions aren't bad. Emotions aren't the problem. It's the behavior that's the challenge. And if they understand, if they know that you understand, you recognize they're upset, they're unhappy, they're angry, and that's okay, then you can separate the emotion from the behavior. And they need words. Like they may not, they need, once you define it, you know, when you try to deny an emotion or just shove it down, it intensifies the emotion. But if you acknowledge it and you name it, it helps you release it much more easily. For example, say a little boy, he's 4 years old, and his baby brother, it's his baby brother's birthday. And so grandma sends a package to his baby brother. No package for him, just a package for the baby brother. And he may get mad and say, that's not fair. And the parent can help him by listening to how he feels, validating you're upset, and then helping him understand. You could say, you makes you feel kind of jealous. And the child can recognize, I'm jealous because my baby brother got a present and I didn't. And then he's much more open to realize, I'll get a present on my birthday. It helps him understand that feeling. So you want to help them understand, help them, give them a name for it, because they don't know the names of their emotions. And then you can lovingly set boundaries. It's okay to be upset, but it's not okay to hit people. And then you help them, all right, you're feeling rejected because your friends wouldn't play with you at school. That's understandable. How can you improve this? Can you make new friends? Can you, maybe there's something you did that made your friends mad at you. Can you repair that friendship? You can help them come up with a plan. Okay, I have this emotion. Emotions are just energy in motion. So teach them to use this energy. All right, you have this energy of feeling angry. Now, how can you use it? How can you make more friends? How can you, whatever it is, you feel like people are ignoring you. How can you get their attention in a positive way? And you're helping them come up with a plan to improve things, to make things better. You're teaching them you can learn from your emotions, and you can learn how to use your emotions, that energy from your emotions, in a way that helps you, that doesn't get you into trouble. You're helping them, accept the emotion, address the behavior, what is acceptable, what isn't. Let's learn how to use the energy to make things better. And that's called being an emotion coach for your child. It takes time, it takes patience. And sometimes you just have to decide, if other people are feeling uncomfortable because my child is having an emotional outburst in a public setting, I'm going to do what I can to help my child. They may have to deal with their discomfort themselves. Just remain calm. Now, I just want to say, you just gave an excellent example. You remain calm. And sometimes that's the first step, and sometimes the most powerful you can do is remain calm And then you can do that coaching, help them learn what to do with those emotions, how to accept them and disperse them. We don't need to stay angry forever. We can just take the anger, the energy from that anger, make up a plan, do it, and then let that anger go. Yeah. What would your house look like, or what would your car look like if you saved every food wrapper you ever got? It would be pretty bad, wouldn't it? We do that sometimes with our emotions. We just hang on to every emotion rather than learning to let it go. Take action, release it. And we can teach that to our children.
That's so
That
correct.
sounds like
Yeah, yeah, that's so correct. Thank you so much, Emalu. And most of the times, we parents we need to understand the importance of being conscious when raising our kids, because the consequences can affect the next generation to the next generation. So I would like to discuss on the consequences that can happen to a child that is not raised consciously, that is not raised in a way that he can control its emotion, in a way that he can get model from his parents and all what we have just said from the beginning.
okay, you're talking about the consequences.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You hit on something that is such a truth that it goes from generation to generation, and we can either continue this
Cycle.
this trend, the cycle. We can either continue the cycle or we can end it. If we choose to end it, we make all future generations so much better. They'll be happier, they'll be more productive. But I have read just recently a term called generational healing. If we stop it, we heal ourselves, that actually can heal the previous generations. It takes it out of the family line. So when we heal ourselves, we're not only healing future generations, we can also heal past generations. And I think, and take out a lot of negativity, a lot of pain. So making that conscious choice, I love what you said. When you choose to become a parent, it's a big responsibility and a
Listen.
great opportunity. It is the most rewarding thing you will do, the most challenging and the most rewarding. But as you make this conscious effort to do and be the best you can be. Now, none of us are perfect. All of us are going to make mistakes. But if you have made a conscious effort to do your best, it works. I remember one time, remember my children are grown up, and I can look back and I made so many mistakes. I would get too angry with them. I yelled at them. And I remember one time I was like apologizing to my adult son, acknowledging, yes, I made mistakes. And he stopped me and he said, Mom, I knew you loved me. You were a good mom. He just kind of, don't worry about it, Mom. The love came through. I'm okay. So, and that, it's just warmed my heart. So, even if we aren't perfect, we make mistakes, keep that love there. Keep that love in your heart and let that be the motivator as you interact with your children. That desire for them to have, in many cases, a better childhood than the one you had, or just that desire of this cycle of abuse stops with me right now. And change your heart, change how you interact with your children, and that calm and patient, and master your emotions. You know, I didn't learn how to manage my emotions until after I was a mother. But the greatest advantage to children is to be raised by parents who are, the term is emotionally intelligent. In other words, they are aware of their emotions, they know how to manage them, how to use them appropriately, how to use the energy appropriately. And that is the greatest benefit for your children, is to be that kind of an adult, to manage your emotions. And yeah, stop that cycle. How much better would this world be if all generations could stop that cycle? I mean, we could have world peace. We wouldn't have wars if we could just raise a whole generation of children who believe in themselves, desire to serve others, become the best they can be. That would just raise the whole world. It's exciting.
So exciting.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, Emalu. So a parent actually came to me and was complaining of the fact that she has an adolescent son, so he is always misbehaving. He's always doing the opposite of what his mom wants him to do, and the mom feels like it's like he's doing it consciously. Yes.
Okay.
So for kids like that, that no matter how you do to listen to them, to try and bring them in with love, but they'll still find room to do things that might lead them to trouble.
Oh, yes. I mentioned I taught school, so I worked with a lot of these children, and some of my children were like these children. My experience taught me that most often children misbehave and act out because they're hurting inside. And even if we are calm, loving, and patient with them at home, something could be happening at school or somewhere else that causes them to feel, I'm not good enough. I'll never be good enough. And so sometimes we can, that active listening, just spending time encouraging them to talk. Some children can't talk. Maybe they want to draw. Maybe they want music or a physical activity. But giving them that opportunity to 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 relieve that pain. You know, you're loving them, you're telling them, but if they have this dialogue inside their head that's saying, you're not good enough, you're not lovable, they're not going to hear your words. They're going to block it out. One system I have found to be very effective, it's called sleep talk. And it's, our brains, we have the activity in our brains, and the at the highest level, we're awake, we're alert, we're learning. But as we start to relax, that brainwave activity slows down. And when it slows all the way down to delta, when we're just sound asleep, theta, sound asleep. But in the mid range, when we're in that dreaming state, we're open to suggestions. And some parents have found it helpful to talk to their children when they're asleep and to give them this positive, you're loved, you're capable, you're worthy, you're good enough. And that, you know, our brains can change themselves. Our brains can actually rewire, and we can change those mental thought programs that are running in our children's head. And when we do that, their behavior changes. Now they do feel good about themselves. So they don't feel any need to act out or misbehave. So that's a powerful tool that parents can use. And in addition to all the love when they're wide awake, just a minute. I need to take a drink. Okay. In addition to when they're awake, try talking to their subconscious mind when they're asleep. And it's usually best when they've been asleep for at least 45 minutes. Not really sound asleep, because they probably won't hear anything. But in that dream state, they will hear. And those words will go into their mind and start to replace all that negative, all those negative thoughts of not being good enough, not being worthy. Now, in some cases, there are chemical problems. I worked with students who had attention deficit disorder. They had neurological impairments. And in some cases, you may need some medical help, but that's fairly rare. In most cases, it's helping them to rewrite those mental programs that cause them to feel badly about themselves. So, did that help?
That helps a lot, Emalu. And it is important to emphasize that whenever children behave in a way that we don't understand or we feel like it is not normal at all, we as parents, we need to know that it is because they are hurting, they have a problem, not because they want to hurt us actually, but because they have an issue within them that needs to be solved. And we have to calm down, have a calm talk with them, and help them to solve that pain that they feel inside.
Exactly. Exactly. We don't help when we just add to their hurt. And
We
it
just blame and
sounds
keep punishing.
counterintuitive. You feel like you want to hurt them because they just hurt you, but it just makes it worse. It just makes it worse.
All right. Thank you so much. And equally the fact that when we listen to our children, when we allow them speak, when we let them speak up their mind, it helps them a lot, even in their future, their career, and even when they become parents. Because everyone or every child wants to feel comfortable to express his mind, doesn't want to feel restricted or feeling like, let me not say this because I might have a punishment or it's not right or I'm not worthy to say this.
Yeah, yeah. Parents could think of themselves as like a computer programmer, the people who write the programs that operate the computer. And this starts even before they're born. They've done research, while the baby is still inside the mother, they can hear. They're hearing what you say about them. They're hearing. And then as soon as they're born, everything, it's all, it's like a big database. It's all stored there. The good, the bad, the ugly, it's all in there. And that information runs those rights, those programs that decide how they feel about themselves, how they feel about the world around them, how easy it is for them to trust. So you are spot on there, Ma. Yes. Be aware that the words you use, even if the child's just in the room and you think they're not listening, and before they're born, even when they're just tiny babies, they're hearing, they're taking in this information, and then they're using that to decide, how do I feel about myself? Am I good enough? It's a heavy responsibility for parents.
It is so heavy, Amalu. It is so heavy, and at times it's so hard. Yeah, because we first of all need to heal ourselves first before handling those kids, and we parents we need to always be in a community where we discuss our problems. We hear from other people's experiences. It's going to help us to feel like we're not alone and make it less stressful.
Yes, yes. Well, I just want to comment that when I have adult children, and I go and visit them, and I see them building a family and building a life, and moving ahead with their career. It's worth it. It is really worth it. It is so rewarding to see. And then you have that relationship. I have friends for life. So
Yeah, that's right.
I firm believer in family. Thank you so much for letting me talk about it.
Me too. Like I so much love family, children, and see kids raised in a way that they can be confident, they can fulfill their purpose, they're not traumatized by what they've gone through as when they were kids. So it's an amazing profession, I can say, to help parents deal with the frustrations at times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is not it is valuable, it is all worth it, and we parents just need each other to in order to sail through this stage of our lives.
Yes, yes. We need to support parents. We need to support each other. Yes. I love the way you're doing that, Ma.
Thank you so much, Emalu. I think we are already 52 minutes gone. Okay, let me try and get some questions from the audience. Okay. All right. So, Emalu, okay, you're getting me.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Okay. So, some parents do often ask me at times, like whenever their kid do something that goes against the rules. It is right. So, how now do we build connection with our children practically?
Is So they've done something that broke the rule. The consequence comes into place because consistency is important for parents. If you've said this is the consequence, you need to follow through with it. And then you're letting them know you're separating the action from the child. You still love that child. The action was not okay, that had to be dealt with, but this child is still loved. And you're making sure that child knows they are still loved and you're still their parent and you are you're offering your support. How can I help you move forward, do better?
Yeah.
Just expressing your confidence. You know, I know you can do better. And I think it's really important to separate the behavior from the child and always love that child. Children flourish
Yeah.
when they feel that unconditional love from their parents, that their parents will love them no matter what. The behavior is another matter, and that needs to be in
Yes,
some.
that is. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say now, when you have older children, there may be some cases that to protect their younger siblings, you have to say this behavior isn't allowed in our house. I'm afraid, you need to find somewhere else to live because we
Yeah.
can't, it's not safe. But
Yeah.
yeah, we still love the child.
Yes, really, love is really the base of parenthood, of parenting, and even of conscious parenting. Love, like you said, that we need to separate the behavior of the child from the child. That is, we love the child unconditionally, but we affirm with the kind of behavior that they portray. Okay, that's just it.
Well, it's important to remember too that love means you want what's best for them. Some parents may feel like, well, I love my child, I'm just going to give them whatever they want. But we know that isn't best for them. If you let a child eat whatever they wanted to eat, that wouldn't be healthy. So, that meaning of love, meaning we want what is best for them, we have their best interest. Yeah.
That is so correct. Thank you so much, Emmanuel Penrod. I think we are going to end this training now. And I just want to get your last word to round up for today's session on the topic raising the next generation, the power of conscious parenting.
I'm sorry. Where you said I didn't quite catch the.
Okay, so I said that we are about to end the
Yes.
training now. So we want to get your final thoughts, your final words on the topic raising the next generation, the power of conscious parenting.
I see the next generation as raising a generation of children who believe in themselves, are able to take care of themselves and have a desire to serve others. And I see great rewards around the world for that.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much for giving us this 1 hour of your time. We are so honored. We are so glad to have heard from your expertise and from your experience. It has been an amazing moment. Thank you so much, Emalu.
Thank you, Ma, and thank you for what you're doing. You're doing a great work.
Thank you. So, guys, please follow Emalu on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook too, right?
Not so much on Facebook, but I do have a
Okay.
YouTube channel that's just my name.
Yes, all right. She had YouTube channel where she talk about family relationship issues. So I'm going to put on a link in the description so that you guys get to subscribe to her channel. Okay, do subscribe to her channel. Okay, Malu, thank you so much.
Thank
Greet
you.
everyone for me. Okay, guys, I've come to the end of this session on raising the next generation, the power of conscious parenting. I hope all your questions were answered, and I hope that you really enjoyed this session. So please do subscribe to the channel to get more tips and tricks on how to handle your kids. And don't forget to subscribe to Emalu's channel. See you in our next video.